Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Markle. I'm the CEO of the Barrie Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank you for braving the weather. Some of you come from quite a distance. Some of you just sort of showed up and didn't have to fight through the traffic on the 401. We want to start today with our traditional land acknowledgement. I think it's important that we acknowledge the land that we occupy and that we work on. And so, in keeping with Indigenous protocol and building respectful relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. In Canada, it's customary to acknowledge the traditional territories and ancestral lands of the Indigenous peoples. Barrie Chamber acknowledges that the land that we operate on has been a site of human activity for 15,000 years. And this land is the ancestral land of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe Nation. The treaties that were signed for this particular parcel of land are the Williams Treaty, Robinson Superior Treaty number 60, Penetangmishne Purchase number 5, and the Nottawasaga Purchase number 18. Dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture, and we also recognize the enduring presence of Indigenous peoples on this land, and we're here and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect, Miigwech. So this is becoming an annual event. We've done this this is the third one that we've done, and I certainly appreciate the invite and the opportunity to work with the Ministry of Finance and Zee. Thank you for coming this morning to give us a few words. The day is going to be tough, I think, for some of you. For the rest, just talking for 3 minutes is easy, but you're going to be listening. So we wanted to make sure that we give you a good breakfast and get you fed before the day. Working for government and advocating for business is a significant part of what chambers do. And this morning's breakfast is one of the many ways that we make sure that the voice of business is heard by our politicians. And this particular region this region in particular has an amazing set of political leaders in it. We are honored and blessed to have really great political alignment, whether it's municipal right through the county. But all of our leaders listen, and they have a genuine want and desire to make this area and the people that live here better. So today is again about actively listening and making sure that government understands the things that we need in order to make this a better and more prosperous area. So I don't want to spend the morning up here. You didn't come to listen to me, so I'm going to introduce MPP Andrea Khanjin, also Minister of Environment, to come up and say a few words and kick us off.
Okay.
She's
right.
Surprised because she didn't know. She's also got somebody with her.
All right, I do. My sidekick. This is Anastasia, everyone. Well, good morning, and thank you, Paul, and the Chamber for hosting this every so far for 3 years, as you said. It's a great start to the day for us, as we want to hear from all of you, Team Simcoe County, Team Barrie. You're the force that's going to get us through some of the turbulent times that we're going through. It's nothing we haven't seen before. We've all stayed united. When it came to global pandemic, all the businesses pivoted, we came together, and certainly economically, we're really a big powerhouse here in Simcoe County and Barrie. And today's no difference. As we see what's happening south of the border, we can't ignore that. But I am very confident that the folks in this room will give us some strong ideas to keep our economy moving, keeping the art of the pivot alive, and making a province even better. But the ideas have to come from you. This time last year, we had a great pitch on the Regional Innovation Centre, and thanks to the great work of myself and my colleagues, we were able to launch that just last week. So it really shows you the strength and power of our region, but also of pre-budget consultations. And we're just getting started. You look at the investments in our hospitals, our roads, all this stuff gets the economy moving, but we need the ideas from you. To date, we've been able to save businesses about $1 billion in red tape. That's the equivalent to 1.5 million hours of paperwork, and those ideas come from the Chamber. Those roundtables we do, the interactions we have with businesses, so keep the ideas coming. We don't want to run out of good ideas. I get to work with excellent colleagues who are going to be up here in a few minutes giving some remarks as well. But again, I want to thank the Chamber. I want to thank everyone for your contributions, because we can't do this alone. We're counting on you, so let's work together to again grow Simcoe County, make it a booming economy, and no matter what happens south of the border, we're ready for it. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Zee Hamid, who's the MPP for Milton, who's also the parliamentary assistant for the Minister of Finance, to come up and say a few words. You're welcome.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I totally forgot I was coming up. But being a politician is against my religion to say no to microphones, so here I am. Minister Khanjin actually kind of repeated a lot of remarks I was gonna say. One thing I'm gonna talk about, everything that's going on south of the border and the threat of tariff and everything else. One thing I'm very proud of our government for, something that we don't talk about much, is we've made record investments in healthcare and education, generational investments in highways and transit. We recognize, I just met folks from CHMA, we recognize mental health crisis and create a ministry for mental health for the first time in the history of Ontario. We've done all of that while being super prudent about finances, while almost balancing a budget for stone throw away despite the global pandemic. One of the very few governments to do so. And what that does is gives us flexibility. So if, whatever happens south of the border, we might need to react to it, but now we have the flexibility. We actually, for the first time in 20 years, we had not one, but two credit rating increases. That has lowered our interest costs. We're saving $1 billion a year on interest costs. And you compare that to the federal government, they're paying 50% more in interest than they were just 2 years ago. Interest in federal budget now is almost as high as the healthcare spending. It's 4 times higher than national defense spending. It's completely backwards. And so I'm very proud of Premier Ford, Minister Falvey, and all the team. And one thing I'll say, because I want to wrap it up really quickly, because I'm here to listen and not talk. You guys are so fortunate. You have some of the best MPPs, not just MPPs, politicians. And I'm not just saying it here because it's getting reported and it works out. So I can't repeat the same thing everywhere else. You have 4 of the hardest working politicians I've ever seen in my life here, of any party stripe, of any level. I'm relatively new in my role. I used to say earlier this year, but it's 2025 now. It's 2025, but it's still my first year, and I've learned a lot from these 4 folks that are here. So Minister Downey, Minister Mulroney, Minister Dunlop, and Khanjin, they're both amazing representatives, not just for this riding and not just for this area, but for all people in Ontario, and it is an absolute privilege to serve with you 4. So thank you for that. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to listening to all the community leaders. Thank you for coming out, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you, Zee. And I'd like to ask the Honourable Caroline Mulroney to come up and say a few words on behalf of the Treasury Board in today's exercise.
Well, good morning. It's great to be part of the 3rd annual Barrie Chamber of Commerce Breakfast, and it's a great opportunity to have an informal chat before the speed dating rounds actually occur. And you said that it's going to be hard for us, but from what I've observed, it's actually a lot harder for the presenters to get all of their ideas and their advocacy down to a 3-minute pitch is really hard. So we're going to be listening very closely. I can't, I echo what my colleagues have said, but what I'd like to just add is that the presentations that are made by the different groups and municipalities and advocacy organizations, you're speaking for yourselves, and we're listening very closely to the issues that you're bringing forward, but you actually also speak for organizations like yourselves across the province. And in my role as president of the Treasury Board, I spent a lot of time read a lot of submissions with a lot of numbers, but what you do this morning is you bring all of that to life, and you speak for the people that you represent. So we're all going to be listening very closely, and I just want to thank all of you for the dedication that you show each and every day to make our communities and our region a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm going to wrap this up really quickly, but I just want to acknowledge that we have several members from our board of directors here. I won't name them because I'm going to mess it up and then I'll get beat up at our board meetings. We have the Mayor Barrie here. We have representatives from the Really and Barrie BIAs, CMHA, which we talked about. There's a number of people here from an organization that's grassroots called Barrie Cares, and also Trojan College. So we've got a lot of people in the room that care a lot about this community. I think today's meeting is going to be important, especially in light of what's happening south of the border, what's happening on our own home front. So we look forward to getting some good submissions and seeing that advocacy in action as the year progresses. So thank you very much. I want to give you a few minutes back before you have to head off to Holly. I'll remind you that we have breakfast sitting here and some coffee. You don't have to leave. Stay in network and have a great day and an excellent weekend. Cheers.
Thank you.